Yes. Now.
As you approach the bibliothek, As you approach, the voices of the bloom begin to click and buzz in your ears, making your fingers twitch and setting your teeth on edge. You catch yourself reaching instinctively for the magmatic amulet, as if it's something you've done many times before. Do it. You grasp at the crystalline artifact, but at once the voices of the bloom grow louder, and louder still. They fill your consciousness, drowning out your thoughts, hissing and whispering and chittering and buzzing. They're coming from every direction, from above and below, from nearby and far away. Swaying on your feet, you nearly topple to the floor. Slowly, the bloom voices resolve themselves into their constituent parts, but now they carry sense impressions with them: hunger, curiosity, desire. Each burst of bloom voices evokes a new impression in your mind. For a moment, you let go of the amulet and the sense impressions are gone. The voices are nothing but meaningless babble. Then you touch the amulet again and the sense impressions return. You realize that the magnetic amulet is a translator of sorts, though the limit and scope of its power are uncertain. Listen to the nearest voices. You hear the cluster of bloom tongues whispering softly to you, exuding a sense of expectation and familiarity. These tongues know your scent, or perhaps that of your sire, and they are eager to touch your mind, but their voices are not the only ones here. A score of other voices gibber and shout from the dark corners of the room. Ordinary human voices that once belonged to the merchants, guards, room guides who were devoured here. Fragments of their minds cling to life in their half-digested corpses, and they cry out in confusion, rage, and pain. Distant voices. You focus on bloom voices that are coming from outside the trade post. What seemed at first like an indistinct babble is actually many different voices, thousands of voices, each arising from somewhere else in the bloom. Some of the voices belong to individual moths, evoking impressions of hunger and need. Others resonate from deeper places within the bloom. When you concentrate on those voices, you experience flashes of intense emotion, or catch fleeting glimpses of men and women being eaten or killed. Every voice is unique, chittering, groaning, barking, whispering, rattling, hissing, yet all of them are the bloom. Try to communicate with the cluster of bloom tongues. Relaxing your mind, you allow the whispering of the bloom tongues to penetrate your thoughts. Memories rise into your consciousness, trivial moments you thought you had forgotten. Just as you recognize them, they are swept away. The bloom tongues are sifting through your memories looking for something. Voices dig deeper into your unconscious. What seemed harmless at first becomes irritating. A dull ache blossoms in the back of your head, spreading across your skull and down your spine. The pain comes in waves, as if the bloom is trying to wrench a memory out of your brain. Uh, Channel the pain back into the bloom tongues. You focus on the pain, letting it flow upon the tides and surge away from you. A molten rush of agony that leaves your nerves quivering in its wake. It spills across the bridge that the amulet has created between your mind and the tongues. From all around you, the bloom voices shriek in hatred and fury. Tongues twist and writhe, and the ground shakes. And then the pain is gone. The clustered bloom tongues droop, their movements feeble, their voices no more than a whisper. In the aftermath of your unusual experience, you find that you have maintained your grip upon the magmatic amulet. Your connection to the bloom tongues remains intact. While they're in weakened state, you might be able to seize control. Try to take control of the Bloom funds. Yep, this has to work. You reach across the barrier that separates your consciousness from that of the tongues, a barrier now made permeable by the amulet. Tentatively, you begin to direct the motion of the tongues. It's a strange sensation, like having another set of limbs, but they respond to your impulses. Belatedly, the tongues try to resist, but with a bit of concentration, you quiet them like errant thoughts. These tongues, you realize, are a tiny locus of the Bloom's consciousness. Their roots extend throughout the trade post, and now so do your thoughts and commands. We could release the human minds that are trapped in the trade post, or steal the knowledge and memories of the trapped human minds. Restore the portal to certain slump, or move the trade post back to its original location. I don't know. I think I'd rather just restore the portal. You cast about with your new senses, but you cannot find any remaining link to the certain slump more, and its whispers have fallen silent. It appears that the portal is gone, and the tongues have no way to creating a new one. Move the trade post back to the original location. You close your eyes and relax your mind, probing the limits of your new senses. The roots of the Bloom tongues run throughout the trade post, but they also extend some distance into the surrounding flesh. A few of them trail upward, tracing a path toward an open cavity in the outer reaches of the room. Steeling yourself, you take hold of all the tendrils at once, urging them back along the path, clawing their way towards the surface and dragging the trade post after them. The ground buckles and churns beneath your feet, and the whole chamber begins to move. At last you open your eyes, and the shaking subsides. The blocked archways open. You hear astonished voices outside. Never did. Okay. The energy spent, Bloom tongues recede into the ground. Didn't do anything with the humans. I don't necessarily regret it. They were not in good condition. So just releasing them would have been problematic. And I didn't want to particularly feed on them either.
Yes.
So
Now.
it is what it is. Maybe it could have just gained some minor bonus out of it. Alternatively, the golden tide. A lot of it. As you emerge from the trade post, you hear sharp intakes of breath. The two merchants you met earlier are staring at you in amazement. What? That great jaw and the teeth, they're gone. Portly human beams at you. Was this your doing? If it was, you have our deepest thanks. Indeed, the Vargelian duck stated. The trade awaits us in the Ascension place. We should go before Bloom Thing tries to eat us again. Yes, but it's still damned impressive, eh? I thought the Bloom only answered to the Nemoviva. Where is she when we need help? Hiding in her fortress, that's where. Gristler squints at you. You spoke to her, didn't you? To the Bloom, I mean. And she listened? Well, it wasn't speech, exactly. Of course not. She don't talk the way we do, but she has always ways to make herself heard, or that whispery, jittery stuff makes a certain kind of sense if you listen long enough. Maybe you've got ways to talk back to her, but I ain't trying to pry. All I'm saying is this, I'd be careful about using that kind of power. If I was you, the folks in charge might mistake you for a threat. Happens a lot around here. He shrugs, and the lopsided grin returns. Now, what can I do for you? I know all about the Bloom and her boss. Right.
Yes.
At last.
On it.
Okay. Not sure there's anything else we can do except turn the magmatic amulet. I'm not recruiting attractive people, and I have no way to get to the labyrinth, so I can't do anything about the Erida's situation.
On it.
I feel that's a big problem with the game. Honestly, it is. I'm sure there were solutions here for you to kill yourself, but the problem is killing yourself should not be a problem. It should be the simplest possible thing, especially if you have a companion. Just stick a fucking knife in you, please. But no, it's some kind of a fucking challenge to. It's a chore to try to find the way to do it. I've stopped basically giving any shits about it, because if they made it so inconvenient, if I get an opportunity to do it, yeah, I'll take it, but I've stopped caring about it.
Naturally.
If we deal with Eridis, that's fine. If we don't, that's fine too.
Here comes the Boredom Slayer.
Don't really see we have a lot of options here.
Happy to help.
Would you accept the cortex that we discussed earlier in place of the amulet?
Making a note.
Oh yes, that would indeed be sufficient. Should you manage to obtain it, it would certainly be a fine substitution for the amulet, but I have my doubts. I have tried and failed to acquire it before.
Making a note.
The agents I employed previously were not up to the task. This was an occasion of great surprise to me. They were top, capable explorers, and I thought them more than sufficient to the job. To gain access to the anchorage and the cortex, I suggest that you employ guile before violence. I would hate to see you fail as they did. So that's at least an option. I mean, I don't see a use for the thing, but it might have a use. So, amulet might, on the other hand, be very, very useful. Translation device, that's what it is. Maybe even a control device, yep. I brought the cortex.
I think I'm ready to try something new.
His smile disappears as he considers your words. He licks his lips nervously and places his hand on his forehead as if he were suddenly stricken with a headache, or if he were communicating. He looks up after a brief moment, his smile returning, though not nearly as wide. Her words are wise, I will accept. He places it into a flat pouch at his hip, and no shape distorts the pouch, as if it were merely a gateway to some larger place. This concludes our part of the transaction. Let me honor mine. Come with me. I have a feel that the circlet is more important. It allows me to do something that I can't do otherwise. This way, throw any weapons and you die in short order. The Mimavira. The Mimavira is a medium-sized woman, regal in bearing. She scrutinizes you with a look that manages to convey both admiration and disdain. Though her words are cultured, her voice is rough, perhaps an artificial of low upbringing. Artifact of low upbringing. Dragagen was effusive in his praise for your skills. I've been following your movements myself. You moved the trade post out of the depths. There are very few people who could manage such a feat. The way she looks at you and holds herself suggests that she might be wary or even slightly afraid of said accomplishment. Her eyes are piercing as they sweep across you. I've dealt with cast-offs before, of course. I've found your kind to be tenacious, resourceful, and skilled, and I know the one you are looking for. I can tell you where she is hiding. What do you want in return? So untrusting, so wise. I understand that this first cast-off has been hiding from your kind for over a century. That you thought she was dead. Well, know that I have no qualms about betraying her, but the cost will be steep. I've lost someone, an important member of my organization. You've no doubt heard of the recent changes in the Bloom. Perhaps you have even heard the rumor that it has turned against me. To some extent that is true. Ishin is a victim of that betrayal. He looks at the floor, saddened. Ishin was my best scholar, a genius with the Numenera. Though through my own means, I've divined that he is still alive, but I cannot reach him. The Bloom has taken Ishin to its heart. I have lost more men than I care to think about while trying to recover him. As a cast-off, however, you have certain advantages my opinions do not. My minions do not, right. Her tone becomes curt. With the recent fluctuations in the Bloom's layout, I no longer know the path to reach the heart. I suggest you talk to someone who knows the Bloom well, if you cannot discover the way yourself. The first is powerful. If you tell me where she is, I'm sure together we can rescue Ishin more easily. Yeah, good luck with that one. Her laughter rings throughout the fortress like a death knell. Oh, she is powerful, of that we have no doubt, Castav. I am sure she will not be as helpful to you as you think. Her smile disappears as quickly as it arrived. I do apologize if I gave the impression that this was a discussion. I have made my offer. Rescue my friend from the Bloom's heart, and you shall have the location of your presence first. Fail, and you will not. Do I make myself clear? Her voice returns to its ordinary tones. Now, if you excuse me, I have an organization to maintain.
Making a note.
She addresses her guards. See that the cast-off doesn't get lost on his way out. I don't think they're in a position to really make much of a demand. I mean, I can communicate with the Bloom directly with this device I have, so why do I need her? Answer is I don't at all. So, anything new from Braska? No, I'll just level up and leave things there. Ah, tier 5. Should be getting new things. Increase edge. Ability or skill. Suppose we could use some skill. Endurance is always good. Healing wouldn't be bad on someone else either, but Endurance would be more important. The game doesn't have really sequential fights, so usually you get to rest between the fights. Extra 5 points per level, plus 5 health per level. I suppose the earlier you take, yeah, it's basically plus 10 points of health more or less. I don't particularly care. Ability or skill? Skill please. Quick fingers. Yeah, sure, why not? This is the important part. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I want speed edge. Intellect edge wouldn't be a terrible thing either. I mean, some of the challenges we're facing are starting to be pretty tough, but I'll stick with intellect. It's my thing. It might not be the most sensible thing, but that's my specialty. I've done that for in the entire game. Don't want to change now. Ooh. My hedge magic and successive attack is new one. When you kill an enemy, immediately make a bonus attack against the nearest enemy in range without moving. Applies to both melee and range attacks, so probably spells too. But that's not really what I do, though. Hedge magic. Ah, we get to choose 2 things. Excellent. Automatically succeed on the next quick fingers or smashing task. Active until next sleep. Interesting. 1 uses per day. You snap your fingers and nuts untangle themselves. Doors pop open, chests unlock. It's easy if you know how to do it. That's actually quite nice. Get through a challenge with just a little bit of magic. Mind control. Huh. I don't know. Teleport 1 ally to a point within range. This would be great if I wasn't always the one who actually has to do most of the things. 5% bonus in certain tasks, not that useful. I don't actually know what I want with this. -2 armor, -1 resistance per tier, so -10 armor, -5 resistance. Enemies in a small cone. Would be very useful. But they would definitely have to have a lot of defenses, otherwise not really that useful. There's a duration of 3 rounds, again, somewhat useful. I'll take the entropic field and hedge magic maybe? Automatic success on the next quick fingers or smashing. I basically have no skills in quick fingers or smashing, so this would actually be potentially very useful. It's still one of the few abilities we're gonna get, so I'm not sure if it's that useful. Maelstrom, fuck that, I'll take head magic. Find a maw that leads to the Bloom's heart. There's no such maw, there has to be a new maw basically. More importantly, is there a way I could just crash that wouldn't be too demanding of us? I mean, basically, how the fuck do I kill myself?
Sure enough.
Is there something incredibly stupid I can do?
To action!
Can I, I'll leave that, finding that another time. 1700, and I have a lot of crap that I don't have any use for. Yeah. I think the bloom flesh sellers might have something. Yeah, but I'll leave it for another time. I need to figure out how to kill myself quickly. Anyone else want to add something?
What's on your mind?
Hmm.